The Assault Class, aka Speedy Gonzales, aka takes 1 point of damage and hits Toughen Up, aka what is an acid launcher? Today we're looking at the Assault Class in Star Wars Battlefront 2. More specifically, we're looking at its arsenal of weapons and figuring out which assault rifle is the best one in the game. Before we check it out, we have a word from today's video sponsor and the makers of the real best weapons I personally know, OwnASaber. Look guys, the holidays are right around the corner and, let's be real, everybody in the world wants a lightsaber for Christmas. An elegant weapon for a more civilized comments section. OwnASaber is currently running a huge Black Friday special on all of their lightsabers, 30% off store-wide, and you get a free display stand with the purchase of any blade. This is a great opportunity to get some quality lightsabers for the Star Wars fans in your life, or even just to treat yourself this holiday season. The special starts today and runs until November 30th, so you've got 2 weeks to take advantage of it. Head over to OwnASaber.com, pick up your new blades, and save an additional 10% using my code STAR at checkout. Link is in the description down below. So if you follow the channel, it's no secret that Speedy Gonzales here is my favorite class in Battlefront 2. He's the first one that I maxed out, and I used one specific weapon to get there, so I may be a little bit biased going into this, but let's go through the assault rifles and see what they can do, and we'll determine the best one once they're all laid out. First up, we've got the default blaster.
This thing sucks!
It's actually pretty reliable. No attachments objectively makes it the worst weapon, but you can still do pretty well with it, and in my opinion, out of all of the defaults, this one is probably the best. It's got pretty consistent shots, minimal recoil, and surprisingly okay damage. The weapon model changes depending on the faction and the era you're playing as it does with all the default weapons, so each assault will get their own weapon. A280C for the Rebels, E11 for the Imps, E5 for the Seppies, EL16 on Resistance, and the First Order gets the F11D. Honestly, they're all the same. They all do literally the same thing, but if we're being honest, the F11D is the best looking out of all of them. The first unlock weapon for the Assault is the A280, and this is one of few burst weapons in Battlefront 2. It's a 3-shot burst, and it's actually one of the more consistent weapons in the game. It's got a really predictable burst delay, it's got great handling, great damage as well, and you can use it from pretty much any distance, but of course at the longer ranges it loses that consistency, just because of its nature as a burst weapon. It's a great choice for close to mid-range combat though, and as the first unlock weapon, it actually has attachments to make it better, so right away, this one is leagues above the default blaster. For the attachments, it's got a sight modification for double zoom, an attachment for better cooling power, and it's got an extended barrel mod for maintaining damage at those longer ranges. I usually run this thing with the cooling cell and the extended barrel, I don't mess with the zoom too much. The next unlockable weapon is the CR2, and this is by far and away the best option for close-range gunfights. It's got the fastest rate of fire out of all of the assault weapons, but it's not the most consistent when you're just spraying and praying. It's best to fire this thing in bursts to keep the shots as consistent as possible, because it does suffer at mid to long ranges, but it absolutely melts health bars up close. Like the A280, it's got 3 mods, a light stock attachment for better recoil control, it's got an ion shot option to take out shields, turrets, and vehicles better, and it has a night sight for finding enemies in the dark, which can come in pretty handy depending on the map you're playing on. My preferred setup is actually just to run the recoil control, and that's it, but on dark maps I will use the night sight. I know there's going to be a lot of you in the comments section thinking this one is the best assault rifle, but I'm going to spoil it. It's not. We still got 2 more weapons to check out. The third unlock is the EL16 HFE, or as I like to call it, El Jefe. This thing is the headshot king. With just 2 shots, it can finish assaults, officers, and specialists. 3 headshots finishes heavies and aerials, and 4 headshots takes out pretty much everything else, except of course heroes. This one is definitely the longest range option for the assault class, and while it's no sniper rifle, the weapon is a beam. This one takes more timing and needs you to really lead its shots more. The velocity and rate of fire on this blaster is a lot slower than most others, so it can take some getting used to, but if you've got good aim, you can make up for it. And in fact, this weapon is really good for practicing aim in general. For modifications, like the CR2, it has a light stock for recoil control, it's got an extended barrel like the A280 for better damage at range, and it has a dual zoom if you really want to adopt a more sniper-like playstyle. Personally, I run the stock in the barrel. The final unlock weapon for the Assault is the E11D, the blaster used by Imperial Death Troopers. This weapon is basically the default blaster, but with attachments. It has the exact same stats as the default, which makes sense since the default Empire weapon is the E11. This is just the next step up. The Death Trooper's model is actually stronger, but the Assault's is still good, just as consistent and reliable as the default blaster, and it's a pretty unique weapon with the attachments too. The light stock and improved damage range is nothing new, but the flashlight adds a cool twist to gameplay. Maps like the First Order Star Destroyer or Nighttime Endor become way more manageable, since when you zoom, you'll cast a light that exposes enemies. It gives you a cool bonus when you expose them too. I usually run the stock and barrel on the E11D, but on those darker maps, I will switch the barrel attachment for the flashlight. So those are our 5 assault rifle options. Which one is the best? Leave your comments below of which one you think is the best. Before I give my final verdict, I gotta give one more thank you to today's video sponsor, OwnASaber. Those guys are great. Make sure you check them out and take advantage of that Black Friday special. Gotta give a thank you to you guys for stopping and checking out the video. If you're new and you want to stay in the loop with more Star Wars gaming videos, make sure you're subscribed and you're getting notified. And don't forget to give this one a thumbs up too if you enjoyed it. As for the best assault weapon in Battlefront 2, it can be a tough call. All of these weapons have a time and place. They all excel in different ranges and in different situations. But if I had to pick one, personally, my final assessment, I'm gonna say the best assault weapon in Battlefront 2 is El Jefe, the EL-16 HFE. This thing just does way too much damage with headshots, and all you need are 2 or 3. Combine this weapon with the Marksman star card, and you can dominate lobbies with just this weapon alone. Also, again, it's a great practice gun for leading shots and just for practicing your aim in general. It's the one that I learned how to lead shots on, and it helped out a lot. I don't see too many other max assaults in my lobbies, but when I get killed by one, they're usually running El Jefe. Of course, this is all just my opinion. Maybe somebody else might think the A280 or the E11D is better, but for me, El Jefe is irreplaceable. But that is it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you stick around for part 2 of this series. We're going to be tackling all 4 base infantry classes. Next time, we're going to be looking at the heavy and the heavy blasters and determining which one is the best. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.